Welcome Wastelanders to Milepost Zero, Update 54 in Fallout 76. Here are the patch notes. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video useful, leave your thoughts in the comments section, and let's get into the video. Welcome to Update 54, which occurred on September 3rd, 2024. Here are the updates, changes and fixes. The Fallout 76 overall file size has been reduced and now sits around the 95GB mark, with some variants for different platforms. To reach this new file size, the update will reinstall the entire game. This is why the update size for Milepost Zero is larger than normal. The download sizes are 82GB on Steam and around 92 to 97GB on all other platforms. Legendary Crafting. Legendary Crafting is now available in the game, giving players more direct control over the mods that they wish to have on their legendary weapons and armour. Before you can start swapping legendary mods onto your gear, you'll need to obtain the mod you want to craft in one of two ways. Number one, you can purchase or trade for the mod from another player. Or number two, you can scrap existing legendary gear with the desired mod on it to have a chance of obtaining the mod, or have a chance, quite rare, to learn the plan for the mod along with some scripts. Loose legendary mods can be traded with other players, so expect the vending market to evolve to include this as part of the trading meta. But once you craft that mod onto an item, it renders that item untradeable, so cannot be traded, sold, nor dropped in the world. Once you obtain your desired mod, you can head over to your armor or weapons workbench to attach it to a legendary item in exchange for legendary script. Each time you replace a mod on an item, the cost to replace another will increase. If you are lucky enough to learn how to craft the mod, head over to your Tinker's workbench to craft it. The crafting cost will vary depending on the mod. Mods require legendary modules and various other items to craft that you can find around the Wasteland. To aid in the exploration of new mod combinations, legendary mod restrictions have been relaxed on weapons. Let me know in the comments section which combinations you've crafted and which you're most looking forward to. Legendary cores discontinued. In August, legendary cores were discontinued to consolidate the currencies used in legendary crafting. This means that legendary cores will no longer be usable across Appalachia. When you log in after downloading the new patch, any remaining legendary cores will be converted into legendary script at a 1-to-1 conversion ratio. Best Builds. Best Builds is a new social system that allows you to submit, visit and rate camps. The camps with the most votes will be shared and populated throughout the Wasteland for all players in adventure mode to see. You will be able to visit these amazing creations and enjoy the comfort, design and unique taste the builder has in store for its visitors. While visiting, if you happen to appreciate the builder's camp, you can show your support by leaving a like. This will allow the dedicated builders an opportunity to show off their creations, as well as inspire other players to create and submit their own best builds. Please note that there are teething issues with best builds at the time of recording. Some camps have interaction issues with player vendors, and other player camps are unable to be submitted for best builds. BGS is working on this and it will be fixed in the near future. Check the BGS Discord for more details and updates. How to submit your camp. Once you have a camp that you would like to show off to the Wasteland, you can submit it through the Best Builds submission option. This is found by opening the camp slots list on the paper map and selecting the camp you wish to submit. Once you have entered the submission window, you will be able to take a few photos and tag your camp with the appropriate identifiers to help make it stand out from the crowd. Once you are happy with how your camp is represented, you can submit your best build. The best build will be added to a list of other player-created best builds, and please note you need to be at your camp to submit your best build or to make any changes. If you happen to make changes to your best build, you can easily resubmit the newly remodeled camp without losing any likes previously earned. You can resubmit your best build by going to the Manage Best Builds option, also found on your camp icon on the paper map. Upon your travels in the Wasteland, you will notice a few new locations with a blue ribbon on the paper map and on the compass. These are player-created best builds. You will be able to fast travel to these camps the same as you would any other camp. While visiting, please take time to sit down, relax, and enjoy the experience the builder has in store for you. Do not delay on checking out best builds as they rotate in and out every hour. Rating a best build. If you happen to find a best build that you fancy, feel free to show your support to the builder by giving them a like. You can like a best build by going to the best build icon on the paper map and selecting like. Giving the builder a like will help show other players that this camp is indeed a best build. Hopefully this new feature will develop further into community competitions and other ways to furthermore cement building in Fallout 76. I'm still hoping for a delightful build menu renovation myself. Fingers crossed that we get it in a future update. Vendor History Log. You can now access your player vending machine transaction history through the paper map or your vendor. This log shows you which items were sold, their price, and who bought it. The vendor history log only stores transactions that happened during your current play session. After your session ends, the log will be cleared, so you receive a fresh log when you start playing again. Season 18, Country Roads has arrived, and while we go over the following bugs and reworks, I will showcase you some of the scoreboard rewards. Combat Rebalance. Milepost Zero continues to update the combat systems. With update 54, there are focus changes to fire and poison damage and how the damage over time effect works. There is also more rebalancing for creatures and many other changes. There is a lot to dig into, so grab a company tea and a couple of strips of pemmican and let's take a look. Player weapons. Fire, poison weapons, and mods. Fire and poison damage will typically include a damage over time effect, with fire damage trending towards shorter durations and higher DPS, and poison trending towards longer durations and higher overall damage. The following weapons, armor, and mods have been updated to align with this fire and poison damage over time adjustment. Paired with the creature adjustments a bit later on, this generally represents an increase in damage dealt. Here is a screenshot of the affected weapons. If you wish to pause the video at this point for a deeper look, then feel free to do so. And while you're doing that, if you could like the video, that would be very much appreciated. Additional weapon and armor adjustments. Adjusted the damage dealt by Thorn armor, increased the damage for the Gauss shotgun, increased the damage of floater freezer grenades, reduced the damage over time for the Cremator's burn to account for it now scaling with weapon damage bonuses, reduced the self-damage dealt to the player when firing the Kabloom at short range, reduce the recoil and base AP cost for the railway rifle, reduce the fire rate and remove the AP cost reduction for the railway rifle automatic piston receiver. Headhunter Scythe's damage type has now been changed to bleed, adjusted the damage dealt by electrified legendary armor. Creature balance. Like the adjustments made in the Skyline Valley update, the following creatures have updated health, resistances, and damage. The goal is to smooth out the difficulty from low to high level play, making them a reasonable threat for all players. Be sure to try some of the updated fire and poison weapons against these creatures, as there is now more contrast in their resistances to each damage type. Here is a screenshot of the affected creatures. If you wish to pause the video at this point for a deeper look, then feel free to do so. While you're doing that, if you could subscribe to the channel if you're not already, that would be exceptional of you. Creature weapons. Weapons used by the following creatures have also been updated. Like the updates to fire and poison damage on players' weapons, creature weapons with fire damage will typically have a damage over time, which is a higher DPS, and weapons with poison damage will typically have a damage over time, which deals more overall damage per hit. Here is a screenshot of the affected creature weapons. If you wish to pause the video at this point for a deeper look, then feel free to do so. Perk changes. Vaccinated increases disease resistance from all sources based on your endurance stat. Thirst Quencher increases action points while not diseased based on your endurance stat. Iron Stomach increases damage reduction while not diseased based on your endurance stat. And Natural Resistance increases your energy, fire, cryo, and poison resistances while not diseased based on your endurance stat. Region bosses. The following creatures have had an adjustment to how incoming damage is reduced. This primarily affects cases where VATS crit attacks and damage over time effects would bypass a portion of the intended damage reduction. Scorchbeast Queen, Wendigo Colossus and Earl, and the Ultrasight Titan. Moving on to bug fixes and improvements. Camp. Mothman wind chime now correctly displays in the Atomic Store. Fixed an issue with chattering teeth flare not appearing in the Tinker's bench or placed on display. Fixed an issue where plank partitions and junk walls not appearing in build menu and being unable to be edited. Fuzzy Mothman plushie no longer faces backwards when placed in display cases. Fixed an issue with the pillar display requiring wood to be built despite being made from stone. The fluorescent lamps in the Ice Glow refrigerated display case appear to shine when not powered. Fixed an issue where the Fortress wall walk posts can be attached to the same attach point. Fixed an issue where two Fortress fences can be attached to the same attach point. Atomic Store purchases from the build menu will again correctly give the player a confirmation prompt before completing the purchase. Surfboard shelves can now be placed in your camp. Reclaimed fence is now correctly available in the camp build options for those who have it unlocked. Combat. Made an adjustment to damage modifiers for creature weak points. This will result in additional damage dealt to creatures when weapons with lower damage per hit are used. Damage over time effects now scale with bonuses to weapon damage. Addressed a series of inconsistencies with how certain damage effects were dealing incorrect damage types or were untyped damage without a corresponding resistance. This was primarily damage over time. Address an issue where damage over time effects dealt by players would not scale to match the creature's level. Fixed an issue where certain effects such as damage over time and the Vampire's Legendary mod could stack when applied multiple times simultaneously on a single target. This commonly occurred with shotguns, but could also occur when using the 2-shot Legendary mod or the multi-shot Cremator mod in VATS. Addressed an issue where damage over time damage dealt by NPCs could be lower than intended. Fixed an issue that could prevent the poison aura of the Strangleheart power armor from affecting nearby enemies. Adjustments to how damage increases from perks are applied. This will generally result in the increase in damage dealt to targets with higher resistances, especially for damage over time effects. Melee weapon damage over time damage now scales with strength. Fixed an issue with the Grenadier perk that resulted in explosions scaling up to twice as large as intended. Fixed an issue that could cause some explosions to be scaled smaller or larger than intended. Effects which increase explosion damage, such as Demolition Expert, should now increase the damage dealt by damage over time effects from explosions. Address an issue where the Danger Cloud mutation would deal more damage than intended. Address an issue where damage over time damage could persist on a player when entering the down but not out state, resulting in the player dying immediately instead of being able to be revived. Addressed an issue where the bonus to damage over time damage from strength and perks could be higher than intended. Addressed a display issue with the description text for the Strangleheart power armor's set bonus. Gameplay. Changed how Explosive Bullets mod interacts with various weapons. Fixed an issue with the Light 'em Up Gatling plasma flickering on the front neon tubes while in first person. Fixed an issue with the Harpoon gun's crosshair disappearing during the precise aiming in the first person view. Fixed an issue where the Cultist Monarch mask did not state its protection against damage and disease from airborne hazards in its description. Damage from fire and poison damage over time effects should now be properly reduced by fire and poison resistance. Improved chainsaw durability. Perk effects will now persist when the player exits the world and returns. Fixed an issue where adding the Blue Ridge Guardsman paint removes legendary mod prefixes from the armor's name. Players will be asked if they want to change servers when logging into a nuked zone. Fix an issue where the broken ProSnap Deluxe camera item could no longer be looted from tourist corpses and toolboxes if the player had completed the bucket list quest and deleted the camera. Fixed an issue which could cause power armor to animate incorrectly when using the Brotherhood Salute emote. Extended the no camp zone around Meat Week to prevent camps from impacting the event. Fixed an issue preventing duplicate plant drops from holiday gifts. Fixed an issue which prevented corpses from turning into goo piles after being hit by a plasma arrow critical shot. General. Fixed a crash while fast travelling while the camera is half underwater. Fixed an issue with the Gain XP challenge, giving the incorrect amount of score. A few daily and weekly challenges will now be auto-tracked upon logging into a server. Fixed an issue preventing the V63 jetpack skin from being applied to Union power armor. Stability improvements for the PlayStation platform. Quests. Seismic activity. Fixed an issue which could cause a crash for certain consoles. Safe and sound. Fixed an issue where enemies could get stuck during encounter waves. Oldest trick in the book. Player will no longer lose cultist outfit when engaging with combat outside of the quest area. The powerhouse of the cell. Fixed an issue which could cause shadows to continue attacking player during the conversation with Hilda. Fixed an issue that could cause a soft lock when injecting serum into the sedated Lost. Fixed an issue causing required enemies not to spawn. I Am Become Death. Players who have previously completed the quest but not received the achievement can now receive the achievement by launching a nuke again. Blue Ridge Branding Iron. Fix an issue that could cause a unique skin to be unobtainable if removed from the weapon. Ally Thicker Than Water. Fix an issue that prevented Frankie from killing the Claw. Fix an issue with Audrey Stolz's end dialogue inconsistencies. Fixed an issue that could cause players to lose the Enclave questline after logging out. Fixed an issue with the quest marker for objective Enter Vault 63 placement. Fixed an issue which caused some players to get stuck when speaking to Alyssa during an unlikely invitation. Fixed an issue preventing the quest One of Us from appearing in the quest log. Eviction Notice. Thank you for all your feedback around the change made to Eviction Notice during the public test server. We have decided to revert to the change we made to the legendary creature spawn rate in the PTS, while we spend more time investigating how we want to make sure all public events are rewarding. User Interface. Fixed a display issue in the Pip-Boy Effects tab. Fixed an issue where some icons were incorrect in the Pip-Boy Effects tab. Items will indicate if they count as a costume when inspected. Weapons will indicate classification information when inspected. Vendors. Giuseppe now sells mystery bobblehead boxes for 20 stamps, 6 per day. Known issues. The BGS team are aware and are investigating reports of lag when using the Pip-Boy. If you are experiencing this issue, please contact the BGS customer support team so they can collect more information. So there you have it. Those were the changes and adjustments from Milepost Zero, update 54. Be sure to like and subscribe if you found this video useful, and we'll see you in Appalachia.